Good morning and welcome to the Friday edition of Joy News Interactive. Here's what's up for discussion today. I won't support you in the next election if you don't shake up your government. That's a threat coming from Aisha Buhari to her husband, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. What do you make of this, and do you think it's okay for her to go public on the issue? And I'll be showing you a latest trend, and for our weekly wrap, the 3 most watched videos on our Facebook page. Here's how to get interactive with us on Facebook. Our name is Joy News on TV. Same name will find us on Twitter and Instagram. Alternatively, you can send me a WhatsApp message on the number 0560 800,000 0560 800 000. Now, you know what they say about men being the head and women being the neck. So the woman can turn the head in any direction they want it to go. It's just one of those things to describe the power and influence women have. But in this case, it's quite difficult to tell if it's a show of influence or a proof of the lack of influence. So, the Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari's wife, has warned him that she may not back him at the next election unless he shakes up his government. In a BBC interview, Aisha Buhari said the president, quote, does not know, unquote, most of the top officials he has appointed. For many, why would she come out to say this? Is it that she doesn't have a lot of bedroom influence, or she's just trying to prove her level of influence by coming out to do this? Well, we spoke to some people about this issue, and here's what they have to say.
Well, I don't think she has to come out publicly to say that, considering the fact that she is the wife of the sitting president. Whatever the case may be, you need to talk to him indoors and support him publicly. So I don't think it's a fair comment from her behalf.
So do you think she didn't do right by coming out publicly?
Yes, she didn't do right at all, because she's your husband. Whatever the case is, you need to support him. True think it's him. So she didn't do it at all for me.
Well, I think she didn't do the right thing by coming out publicly to say something like that. She could have at least called her husband in their own matrimonial room and then said something to the husband to do something good for the country. If she thinks the husband is not doing the right thing, she could have spoken to the husband about it. But coming out publicly to say something like this is not the best. She didn't do the right thing as a wife.
I think the role of every mother or a wife, as it were, is to ensure that your husband or whoever you're married to, you support the person and support the person well. And supporting the person both in the house and probably in public office also entails that you need to let the person know where he's heading towards and what resource there is for that person. And so it is very necessary for her to have come out to say that. I mean, regardless of the fact that she's put it in the public domain, at the end of the day, that's the reality on the grounds. If I'm with my husband and my husband is in a public office as a president, and there are certain things that I believe that are going wrong and my husband is not saying anything about it, I think I should be bold. And then probably you can never tell. They might have had discussions in private and the husband is still not listening. So the best way for her to have gone about it is to just go into public and then say it. And it's not to disrespect the husband in any way. I mean, this is a real woman who believes that there's something my husband is supposed to be doing he's not doing. So I would want to go out there and let the whole world knows that if any other person does it and it's wrong, and my husband will talk about it in public, because the husband has come out several times to say that if my minister do this, I'll do that. If you don't do what you are supposed to do as a minister, I'll kick you out and all of that. So what's wrong for the president's wife coming out to say that if my husband doesn't do this, then I'll not support him in the next? I mean,
yeah, that is good. I think that if all the first ladies will be so honest and come out and criticize their husbands, we think Africa will be a better place to live. I believe what his wife is saying, what she's saying. She need to tell her husband that if really he want to rule Nigeria and get something better out of Nigeria, then he have to be honest to Nigerian people. I believe on Buhari's wife. Yes.
It's not good. It's not good because he can tell him in the room or somewhere, but to come publicly to disclose this thing, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Yeah, she didn't try. But one thing too is she has noticed some things in the government. That's why she's also saying that, and it can happen. She has told him in the room, but he doesn't want to listen. So maybe if he come public, that's why he will listen to him.
So what do you think? Is it okay or not? Let's get on to Facebook. Augustine Iredem says, well, as a citizen, I guess she's right. She's justified. But as the wife of the president, maybe she could have chosen a better forum to make that point. But who knows? She probably tried all other means and failed. So this interview was a last resort. So for Augustine, he's one of those people who believe, well, maybe the bedroom influence didn't work so well. And Chigozi Oganigwe says, well, it's all based on personal reasons. Maybe it's high time we exposed him, and she has started already. But I can't say whether she's wrong or right. But the fact is that exposing him is not that bad. Okay, Kobe Brown says now Nigerians are crying because they voted against Jonathan. So he's advising Ghanaians to keep JM at the Flagstaff House. Rukia Moro Kaita, she laughs at his comments and says they wanted change and they got change, so they ate experiencing change. I'm sure you mean they are experiencing change. Kobe Brown says, yes, Rukaya Moro Kaita, but, well, he's there, well, campaigning. And Jake Edinam says, no, like she said, the president does not know some of the mistakes from ministers. That's room talk. Amadou Ndebugri Benjamin says her actions only tell you the beef between her and her husband. Philip Hinson said a man must listen to his wife. And Kweku Asari says she's really a bold woman, and he thinks that all first ladies should learn from this. There are actually a lot more comments to that. We'll get that later. But here on WhatsApp, this one says, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, in the first place, is a Nigerian and has a responsibility towards her country. She wouldn't have come out publicly if her husband had accepted her piece of advice indoors. So you think that a public commentary on this means that bedroom influence didn't work too well. Mutalib from Bupe says, that's a brave woman and the fear of Allah is in her. So, well, I don't know what you mean by the fear of Allah. If you can come back, maybe. And this one says, she didn't do well at all. As a wife, you have to tell him all the problems secretly, not publicly. The woman didn't do well, he stresses, and says she doesn't respect her husband. This woman needs to learn from Pragya. In fact, she needs to watch Kumkum Bagya to learn good morals. I'm sure you have a reason you didn't add your name and location, right? But please remember to add your name and location to your messages. This one said, it's good, but the timing, and well, you think that marriage is for better or worse, and so she should have discussed it with him in the bedroom and not outside. This is Ora Beidu at Dasibre Pharmacy in Konongo, and this is from Culture and Tepa, saying she's perfectly right with what she did. This one says, thumbs up for Aisha, there is no smoke without fire. And well, you're asking whether we know the number of times she may have discussed this with him, but it never yielded results. You're saying that we need to face fact. Our leaders do not have a problem, but their followers. Okay, this is coming from Don D. And okay, so you added your name and location. The one who says you should watch Kumkum Bagya. Okay, Emmanuel Issel from Takwa. And this says she is really a good woman. Interesting comments coming here on this particular issue, which is not very conventional for first ladies to come out and criticize their husbands and even go as far as saying they will not support them in the next election. Well, that's what Aisha Buhari has been saying in an interview with the BBC about her husband. You're watching Joy News Interactive. When we come back, there's something I've got to show you. Please don't go away. Welcome back. It's Joy News Interactive with me, Benes Abubedu. Now about what I wanted to show you. Ghanaians are creative. Trust me, we can get very, very, very creative. At least what we saw people do with the Calipo Challenge is enough proof. Well, this time is a creation of posters like these. So, I mean, the first time you see this, what a shock. you are thinking, oh no, it's actually an obituary or an announcement of someone's death. But take a close look at it. The first one says, upon all that I did, God has added another year to my years. And this one is, what a shock. Special thanks, happy birthday, age +1 years. Now this is a new trend, and I'm asking you what you make of this. Well, we went onto the streets to find out from some people what they make of this new trend.
Oh yeah, I have some on my phone.
What do you make of these trends?
It's funny because some people have taken things in consideration that, oh, this one is nothing, or let me do it so that people will see me and that they will read about it and they will rush to see what is in there, which is not good, because this thing is for someone who has died or for dead person. So as a live person, and if you are celebrating your birthday and you're doing this, what do you want us to do? Yeah, so it's not good.
It's not good for him to use such a thing like what a shock, because it's a birthday thing. At least what a shock is like something like someone who has died or something like that. What a shock. It's not good for him to use it.
Posing on an obituary is not like this. It's not known to be like this. That's not the right thing to do for obituaries, but they are showing their creativity. I wouldn't know, but maybe it might be the new trend or something.
It looks like of late Ghanaians are taking things for granted. What a shock, as you all know, is for dead people, but people are not transforming it to be something, a caption for birthday celebrants, and I don't think it's cool at all. It's very bad. It's very bad. If we don't curb this in the future, it's going to go against us. It's going to be something that will be trendy, and then everybody will be towing that line, and I think it's very, very bad.
I think it's an interesting trend. In the past, we used to have things of this nature done in the private. You know, you hardly find something like that on social media. I mean, for the fact that a lot of people have realized that's the best way to send, announcements or whatever it is to their family members. Before, you would like to do it on TV, and even that, it is well structured in a way that it doesn't really necessarily become too much of begging people to come and witness the death or whatever it is. But, in the advent of social media, some of these things were expected, and it's not too surprising that they are out there. It is sometimes you watch what has been written over there and you want to even ask yourself whether you want to even go for the funeral or not. What a shock, a blessed memory, and all of those things, and some people gone too soon. And some, when you watch them and when you see them on social media, you want to just have a laugh, because of the way they've been captured. But I mean, that notwithstanding, I think that we've come a long way, trying to show respect to the death.
Well, so this what a shock is not what we know. Let's get onto Facebook. Freddie Kwame Asino says it's just a hilarious presentation. Let them have fun. Besides this, what a shock written on their foreheads and is matching them. Oh, well, he thinks to their grave, of course. Think twice. Not everything we do to fetch us fame, but you must be conscious of what you do. And a lot of people are getting quite, what's the word? Well, maybe they're thinking a bit more traditional about this and how it can affect you as a person, and maybe you may die, well, because you put what a shock on your photo. Or say Quentin guy, he laughs and says, in fact, Ghana is a place to be. Upon all our problems, people still make us smile. Creativity at its best, but they should watch out because, well, he thinks wizards and witches are also creative. They can also make it obituary next year instead of what a shock. MK Jr. says, I saw this somewhere and I wrote RIP, but I can't trace it to delete it again. Okay, so MK Jr. is one of those people who just saw what a shock and said, oh my goodness, this person must have died. But pay close attention. There's not what a shock. Every what a shock you see that has to do with someone's death. And Apana Child says, we're in a fashionable world, so anybody can invent something appealing. And he thinks it's nice though. Ruth Edudi says, Johnson says, very irritating and annoying. She says some people are always misusing technology in the name of creativity. So not everybody is pleased about this. Well, here on WhatsApp, this one says, this is not good. If you do that, you are calling for death to come and take you away. And this is Ebenezer Ntakwa, and he says it's not good at all. And Roya from Akim Winchi says, I will call it creativity in the wrong way. So are we just being superstitious? That's the word I was looking for earlier. Are we just being superstitious? Is it that people are saying, well, if you're not careful, you die. If you do, what a shock on your birthday. And this one says, this is a problem. Ghana is really sweet. What a shock. Pa. This is Dondi in Ukraine. Well, I'm not sure if Ukraine, Ghana, or Ukraine, because in Ghana we have Russia and all of that. But on to our most viewed videos. It's a Friday and we've decided to show you the most viewed videos. Now this one is when President Mahama was presented on one of his campaign tours, and it has 15,221 views as at the time of doing this video. Take a look at it. So that's the first video with over 15,000 views. The next one has 14,499 views. Take a look at it.
And I'm the job training. These men just will help us do select that. For support national development policies, achieving 60-40% ratio.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Professor Frimpong Boakye a big round of applause. It's a very warm atmosphere here, as we can all tell. We will run along the program. He will continue his schedule later. But as I mentioned, there are many parts of this afternoon's engagement that we want to bring to your attention. Apart from the innovation, science, technology policy, which will be outlined later this afternoon, we've also got an agenda for jobs. As you are aware, this election 2016 is mostly about jobs. And the MPB has already mentioned one key policy.
So Professor Frimpong Boakye sipping on that calipo. And that's how we end this edition of Joy News Interactive. Many thanks for your company. And from the entire team, we wish you a very great weekend. Hopefully, we do this again next week. I'm Bernice Abubedu. Don't forget, the conversation continues on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are Joy News on TV. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on the number 0560 800,000. Do enjoy the rest of your day.